Jake Morrison stood in the cold metal room. His hands were tied behind his back. 3 officers sat at a long table in front of him. Their faces were hard like stone. The room had no windows, only bright white lights that hurt his eyes. Admiral Victoria Kane looked at him with angry eyes. She was the head judge today. Her uniform was perfect. Every metal shined. Her gray hair was pulled back tight. She did not like Jake Morrison. "Captain Morrison," she said. Her voice was cold. "You are here because you did not follow orders. You left your post. You put civilian lives before military goals. Do you understand these charges?" Jake looked straight at her. He did not look away. "Yes, I understand." The second officer was Colonel Pete Davis. He was younger than Kane. His hands shook a little when he opened the file. "On March 15th, you were ordered to hold the defense line at Kepler's Ridge. Instead, you took your ships to evacuate the colonies. Why?" Jake remembered that day. He could still hear the screams over the radio. Families trapped on 3 different planets. The enemy ships were coming fast. He had to choose. Save the military base or save 10,000 people. There were children there, Jake said. Families. They had no way to escape. "That was not your mission," Kane said. She hit the table with her hand. "Your mission was to hold the line. Because you left, we lost the whole sector. But we saved 10,000 lives. And lost 1,000,000 more when the sector fell." Jake felt sick in his stomach. He knew she was right about the numbers. But he also knew what he saw. Little kids crying for their parents. Old people who could not run. He had ships that could save them. How could he just leave them to die? The third officer was Captain Ruth Bell. She had been quiet until now. "Jake," she said softly, "we know you meant well. But orders are orders. In war, we cannot think about just one group of people." "They were not just one group," Jake said. "They were human beings." Kane stood up. She walked around the table. Her boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. "You think we do not care about people? You think we are monsters? We make hard choices so that more people can live. I made the choice I could live with. Well, now you will live with this choice." Kane went back to her seat. She picked up a paper. "Jake Morrison, you are found guilty of not following orders. You are guilty of leaving your post. You are guilty of putting personal feelings before duty." Jake's heart beat fast. He knew this was coming, but hearing it still hurt. "You are no longer a captain in the Earth Defense Force. You are no longer a soldier. You will be sent to Black Rock Point Station. You will stay there. You will not return to Earth or any human world, Black Rock Point." Jake had heard of it, the old mining station at the edge of space. No one went there anymore. It was a place for people the military wanted to forget. "You will take 1 ship," Kane continued. "Basic supplies. You will monitor the deep space sensors. You will send reports once a month. That is your new job. For the rest of your life." 2 guards came forward. They untied Jake's hands. One guard gave him a small bag. "Your things," the guard said. Jake looked in the bag. His personal items from his old ship. A picture of his family. Some books. His father's old watch. Everything he had left. "There is one more thing," Kane said. "Dr. Lisa Grant has asked to go with you. She wants to study the strange things in deep space." We said yes. "You will not be alone." Jake was surprised. Lisa Grant was a smart scientist. She studied alien life forms. Why would she want to go to that empty place? "Why?" Jake asked. "Ask her yourself." "She is waiting by your ship." The guards walked Jake through the station. Other soldiers looked at him. Some looked sad. Some looked angry. Everyone knew what happened. Jake Morrison was the captain who chose wrong. They reached the dock. Jake saw his new ship. It was small and old. The name on the side said Defiant. Someone had a sense of humor. A woman stood next to the ship. She had brown hair and kind eyes. She wore a white lab coat over her uniform. This was Dr. Lisa Grant. "Captain Morrison," she said, "not captain anymore. Just Jake." She smiled a little. "Jake, then. I am Lisa. I guess we are going to be working together. Why did you ask to come? Black Rock Point is not a nice place. It is cold and empty. Nothing happens there." Lisa looked at the stars through the big dock window. "That is not true. The sensors there pick up strange signals, things we do not understand. I want to study them. Maybe find something new." Jake looked at her. She seemed honest. But there had to be more to it. "No one chose exile for science. There is another reason," Lisa said quietly. "I read your file. What you did at Kepler's Ridge, you saved my sister and her family. They lived on Colony 7. Jake felt something warm in his chest. He had not known the names of all the people he saved, but this woman's family was among them. Thank you, Lisa said, for choosing to save them. The guards pushed Jake toward the ship. Time to go, one said. Jake and Lisa walked up the ramp. The inside of the ship was small but clean. It had a pilot area, a small lab, and 2 bedrooms. Basic but good enough. Jake sat in the pilot seat. He had flown many ships before. This one was simple. He started the engines. They hummed quietly. Ready? He asked Lisa. Ready. Jake pushed the controls forward. The ship moved away from the station. Through the front window he could see the stars. Somewhere out there was Black Rock Point, his new home, his prison. But as they flew into the dark, Jake felt something he had not felt in months. Peace. He had made his choice. He had saved people. Maybe that was worth being cast out. Maybe there was still something good he could do, even at the edge of space. The stars grew brighter as they flew toward the unknown. 6 months had passed since Jake and Lisa came to Black Rock Point. The old mining station was bigger than Jake thought it would be, but most of it was broken or empty. They lived in just a small part of it. Every day was the same. Jake would check the sensors in the morning. Lisa would work in her lab. They would eat dinner together. Then Jake would write his monthly report to send back to Earth. The station was quiet. Too quiet sometimes. The only sounds were the air machines and the computers. Outside the windows was just black space and distant stars. But Lisa was good company. She was smart and funny. She told Jake about her research. He told her about his old battles and the places he had seen. Slowly they became friends. One morning Jake was looking at the sensor data. Something was strange. For weeks he had been seeing weird energy signals. They came from far away, past the edge of known space. At first he thought it was just star noise, but the signals were getting stronger. Lisa, he called. Come look at this. Lisa came to the control room. She still wore her white lab coat. Her hair was messier now than when they first met. Living on the station had made them both more relaxed. What is it? She asked. Jake pointed at the screen. Lines of data moved across it. Numbers and graphs that showed energy levels. These signals. They do not look natural. Stars and planets do not make energy patterns like this. Lisa studied the screen. She was good at understanding data. Her eyes moved back and forth as she read the numbers. You are right, she said. This looks like our movement, like many ships moving together. That is what I thought. But who would be out there? We are the farthest human station. There is nothing past us. Lisa touched the screen. Maybe not nothing. Maybe something we have not met yet. Jake felt cold. In all his years as a soldier, he had fought human enemies. Pirates, rebels, other colonies. But he had never fought aliens. Earth had met a few alien species. Most were friendly. Some traded with humans. But none lived out here in the dark. I should report this, Jake said. Yes, but first let me run some tests. I want to make sure we understand what we are seeing. For the next week, Lisa worked day and night. She used every sensor on the station. She studied the signals from every angle. Jake helped when he could, but this was her area of skill. What they found scared them both. The signals are not random, Lisa said. She looked tired. Her eyes were red from staring at screens. They move in patterns, like a fleet of ships in formation. How many ships? Jake asked. I cannot be sure, but the energy levels suggest hundreds, maybe thousands. Jake felt sick. A fleet that big could destroy every human colony, could destroy Earth itself. We need to warn people, he said. Jake sat down at the communication console. He typed his report carefully. He explained about the signals, about what they might mean, about the danger that could be coming. He sent the message to Earth Defense Command. Then he waited. 3 days later he got an answer. It was from Admiral Kane. Morrison, your report has been reviewed. The signals you describe are normal stellar phenomena. You are seeing solar flares and cosmic radiation. This is not unusual in deep space. Do not send false alarms. Focus on your real duties. Jake read the message twice. He could not believe it. They do not believe us, he told Lisa. Or they do not want to believe us, Lisa said. Jake tried again. He sent more data, more proof. He explained why these signals were different from normal space noise. He begged them to listen. The answer came back even faster this time. Morrison, you have been warned. Do not send false reports. If you continue to waste our time with these fantasies, we will cut off your supplies. This is your final warning. Jake hit the desk with his fist. The pain felt good. It was better than the anger inside him. They think I am crazy, he said. They think I am making this up to get attention. Maybe they are afraid, Lisa said. If these signals are real, it means a big threat. Maybe they do not want to admit they missed it. Jake thought about this. Admiral Kane and her people had power because they kept everyone safe. If a huge alien fleet was coming and they had not seen it, they would look stupid. They would lose their jobs. So they ignore the problem and hope it goes away, Jake said. Yes. Over the next few weeks, the signals got stronger. Jake and Lisa mapped them carefully. The energy sources were definitely moving. They were coming closer to human space. But they were still very far away. Lisa made another discovery. She was looking through the station's old files. The previous commander had left lots of data behind. Jake, look at this, she said one evening. They were eating dinner in the small kitchen. Lisa had her tablet with her. What is it? I found files from Colonel Ben Hayes. He was the commander here before us. Look what he wrote. Lisa showed Jake the tablet. It had a personal journal entry. Day 847 on Black Rock Point, the signals continue. I have sent 17 reports to command. They all say the same thing. Normal space noise. But I know what I am seeing. Something big is out there. Something that does not want to be found. I will keep gathering proof. Someone has to listen eventually. Jake felt his heart beat faster. When was this written? 2 years ago. Just before Hayes disappeared. Disappeared? His shuttle was found empty near the third moon. No body, no explanation. Command said it was an accident. Jake and Lisa looked at each other. They both understood what this meant. Hayes had been watching the same signals. He had tried to warn Command. Then he had vanished. They got rid of him, Jake said quietly. Or something else did. That night, Jake could not sleep. He walked through the empty halls of the station. He thought about Colonel Hayes, about the signals, about the fleet that might be coming. He stopped at a window. Outside, the stars looked peaceful. But somewhere in that darkness, something was moving, something that wanted to stay hidden. Jake made a decision. He would keep watching. He would gather all the proof he could. And when the time came, he would find a way to warn people, even if Command would not listen, because that was what soldiers did. They protected people, even when no one wanted to be protected, even when it might cost them everything. The next morning, Lisa found more old files. Hayes had been very busy before he disappeared. He had found proof that some people in Command knew about the signals. They were covering them up on purpose. We are not the first to see this, Lisa said, and we will not be the last to be ignored. Jake looked at the data Hayes had collected. It was more than enough to prove the threat was real, but it had done Hayes no good. Then we will have to do something different, Jake said. What do you mean? Jake looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, the unknown fleet was still coming, still hidden, still dangerous. We will have to be ready to fight them ourselves. Jake worked for hours in the station's machine shop. His hands were dirty with oil and metal dust. He was taking apart old mining equipment to build new weapons. The station had not been made for fighting, but Jake was changing that. Lisa found him there late one night. She carried 2 cups of coffee. The smell was good in the cold air. You have been working for 12 hours, she said. You need to rest. Jake wiped his hands on a rag. He took the coffee and drank it. It was hot and bitter. I cannot rest. Not now. The signals are getting stronger, are they not? Jake nodded. Every day the energy readings grew bigger. Whatever was out there was getting closer to human space. Show me what you found today, Jake said. Lisa pulled out her tablet. She had been studying the signals non-stop. Her research was getting scary. I think I know what we are dealing with, she said. These are not just ships. Look at this, she showed Jake a graph. The energy patterns looked like waves. This pattern matches something I studied before. Biomechanical technology. Living ships? Living ships? Yes, ships that are grown, not built. They have organic parts mixed with machines. Some alien races use them. Jake felt cold. He had heard stories about bioships. They could heal themselves. They could adapt and change. They were much harder to kill than normal ships. How many are there? Jake asked. Lisa touched the screen. New numbers appeared. Based on the energy output, I estimate at least 300 large ships, maybe more smaller ones. It is a whole fleet. Jake sat down hard on a metal box. 300 ships. Even if they were small, that was more than the entire Earth Defense Force. There is more, Lisa said. Her voice was quiet. I think I know when they will attack. She showed Jake a star chart. It showed their local area of space. 2 stars were marked in red. Those are binary stars. They orbit around each other. In 3 weeks, they will eclipse. The eclipse will last for 6 hours, so the electromagnetic interference from the eclipse will blind our long-range sensors. It is the perfect time for a surprise attack. Jake understood. The alien fleet was timing their attack. They would use the eclipse as cover. By the time humans could see them clearly, it would be too late. We have to warn people, Jake said. With what proof? Command already thinks we are crazy. Jake thought about this. Kane and her people had made it clear. They would not listen to any more warnings from Black Rock Point. Then we have to do something else. Jake went to the communication console, but instead of sending a message to command, he tried to reach other stations. Maybe someone else would listen. He tried the mining colonies near Jupiter. No answer. He tried the research stations in the outer system. No answer. He tried the merchant ships that traveled the trade routes. No answer. Every message came back the same way. Unable to connect. Access denied. Contact your local commander. They are blocking our signals, Jake said. Command is stopping us from talking to anyone. Lisa looked scared. They really do not want this information to get out. Or someone in command is working with the aliens. The thought made Jake sick. But it was possible. Humans had betrayed each other before. For money, for power, for survival. That night, Jake could not sleep again. He walked to the observation deck. Through the big windows, he could see the binary stars. They were getting closer to Eclipse position. Lisa found him there. She sat next to him on the metal bench. What are you thinking about? She asked my father. He was a soldier, too. He used to tell me stories about the old wars. Before we had spaceships, when people fought with guns and tanks. What did he say? He said the most important thing a soldier could do was stand guard. Even when no one was watching. Even when no one cared. Because someone had to be ready when the enemy came. Lisa was quiet for a while. Then she said, we are standing guard now. Yes, but we are just 2 people. What can we do against 300 ships? I do not know. But we have to try. The next day, Jake made a decision. If command would not listen, he would prepare to fight alone. He started working faster on his weapons. He studied the station's defenses. He planned for battle. Lisa helped him. She used her science skills to find weaknesses in biomechanical ships. She studied their energy patterns. She looked for ways to hurt them. I found something, she said one morning. Bioships use neural networks to control themselves. Like a brain. If we can disrupt the network, the ship becomes helpless. How do we disrupt it? Electromagnetic pulses. Very specific frequencies. It is like hitting the right note to break a wine glass. Jake smiled for the first time in days. Can we make weapons that do this? Maybe. If we use the station's main power core. Jake thought about this. The power core ran everything on the station. Air, heat, gravity, life support. If they used it as a weapon, they might not survive. It would be a one-time shot, Jake said. Yes, but it might work. For the next 2 weeks, they worked day and night. Jake modified every weapon on the station. Lisa calculated the exact frequencies they would need. They turned Black Rock Point into a fortress, but Jake knew it would not be enough. Even if they could hurt the alien ships, they could not stop them all. The main fleet would get through. Earth would be defenseless. 3 days before the eclipse, Jake tried one more time to contact command. This time he got through to Admiral Kane herself. Her face appeared on the screen. She looked angry. Morrison, I told you not to contact us again. Admiral, please listen. The alien fleet will attack during the eclipse. You have to prepare the defenses. There is no alien fleet. You are seeing things that are not there. Admiral, please. Morrison, you are relieved of all duties. Do not send any more messages. Do not leave your station. If you try to contact anyone else, we will consider it an act of treason. The screen went black. Jake sat back in his chair. He felt empty inside. He had tried everything. No one would listen. No one would help. What do we do now? Lisa asked. Jake looked at her. She had followed him to this empty place. She had worked with him for months. She believed in him when no one else did. We do our job, Jake said. We stand guard. And when the enemy comes, we fight. Even if we cannot win, especially then. Outside the window, the binary stars were almost in position. The Eclipse was coming, and with it the alien fleet. Jake checked his weapons one more time. He looked at the power readings. Everything was ready. In 3 days his exile would end. One way or another. The last 2 days passed quickly. Jake and Lisa made final preparations. They recorded messages for their families. They said goodbye to each other just in case. On the morning of the eclipse, Jake sat in the control room. The sensors showed normal space, empty and quiet. But Jake knew that was about to change. He put his hand on the weapon controls. Lisa sat next to him at her science station. "Ready?" Jake asked. "Ready." The eclipse began. The stars started to dim as one passed in front of the other, and in the growing darkness something stirred. The eclipse reached its peak. The 2 stars lined up perfectly. Darkness covered the space around Black Rock Point. The sensors went crazy with interference. Then Jake saw them. Ships appeared out of the black. Not human ships. These looked like giant insects made of metal and flesh. Their hulls moved like they were breathing. Green lights pulsed along their sides like veins. "Dear God," Lisa whispered. More ships appeared. Then more. They kept coming until the space around the station was full of them. Jake counted fast. 50 ships. 100. 200. They were bigger than he had expected. Each one was the size of a city. They moved without sound through the vacuum, like predators hunting in the dark. "They are scanning us," Lisa said. Her voice shook. "I can see their sensor beams." The closest alien ship was only a few miles away. Jake could see details on its hull. Organic armor that shifted and changed. Weapons that looked like giant claws and eyes. Actual eyes that glowed in the dark. One of the eyes turned toward their station. "They see us," Jake said. Alarms started going off. Red lights flashed in the control room. The alien ship was powering up its weapons. Jake hit the controls. His modified guns came to life. He had 6 plasma cannons and a dozen missile tubes. Not much against a fleet this size, but it was what he had. "Firing," Jake said. The plasma bolts shot across space. They hit the alien ship's hull. Green blood sprayed from the wounds. The ship screamed. Jake could hear it through the radio, a sound like a dying animal. The ship fired back. Energy beams cut through space. They hit the station's shields. Sparks flew from the control panels. "Shields at 60%, Lisa called out. More alien ships turned toward them. Jake saw weapon ports opening. Dozens of them. "Lisa, start the pulse weapon. We need to hit them now. Working on it. I need 2 more minutes." Jake did not think they had 2 minutes. He fired everything he had. Missiles and plasma bolts filled the space between the station and the aliens. Some hit, most missed. The alien ships were fast for their size. The aliens fired together. 20 energy beams hit the station at once. The shields collapsed. The hull started to crack. "Hull breach on level 3, Lisa shouted over the alarms. "We are losing air." Jake sealed the damaged sections. But more hits were coming. The station shook with each impact. "1 more minute," Lisa said. "The pulse weapon is almost ready." Jake launched his ship, the Defiant. If the station was going to die, he would make his last fight in space. He could move faster out there. Be harder to hit. The Defiant shot out of the station's docking bay. Jake flew straight at the nearest alien ship. Its weapons turned to track him. But he was small and fast. Jake fired at the ship's eyes. His guns were small but accurate. He hit 3 eyes in a row. Green fluid leaked out. The ship turned away, blind on one side. But there were so many more ships. Jake counted at least 300 now, all of them heading toward human space, all of them carrying death. "Jake," Lisa's voice came over the radio. "The pulse weapon is ready, but I need you to get closer to the command ship." "Which one is the command ship?" "The biggest one. In the center of the fleet. It has more bioneural connections than the others." Jake looked for it. There, a ship twice the size of the others. It had tentacles that reached out to touch other ships. Like a spider in the center of a web, I see it. But I cannot get close. Too many other ships in the way. You have to try. This is our only chance. Jake turned the Defiant toward the command ship. He flew between the alien vessels. Their weapons fired at him. He dodged and weaved. Energy beams passed so close they burned his hull. A smaller alien ship moved to block his path. Jake fired everything he had at it. The ship's hull cracked open. It started to fall apart, but it was still in his way. Jake made a choice. He flew straight into the dying ship, The Defiant smashed through its hull. Metal and alien flesh scraped against his windows. Then he was through, flying toward the command ship. "I am in range," Jake called to Lisa. "Firing the pulse weapon now." Back at the station, Lisa overloaded the main power core. All the energy that kept them alive went into one massive electromagnetic pulse. The station's lights went out. The air stopped moving. The pulse shot across space. It hit the alien command ship like a giant fist. The ship's neural networks overloaded. Its biomechanical brain burned out. The command ship started to drift. Its lights went dark. Its weapons stopped working. But more importantly, the other ships started to act confused. Without the command ship telling them what to do, they moved randomly. "Some fired at each other by mistake. It worked," Jake said. "But they are starting to recover." He was right. The alien ships were adapting. New command ships were taking over. The fleet was getting organized again. "Jake, get back to the station. We need to evacuate," but Jake was not coming back. His ship was too damaged, and he had another idea. "Lisa, can you break through the communication block?" "What do you mean?" "Can you send a message to Earth? Tell them what we learned?" Lisa worked at her console. The station had no power, but she had emergency batteries. "Yes, I think so. But only for a few seconds. Do it. Send them everything." The alien weakness. The fleet size. How to stop them. What about you? Jake looked at the alien fleet. They were moving again. Heading toward human space. Toward Earth. Toward billions of people who had no idea what was coming. "I am going to slow them down." Jake turned his ship around. He flew back toward the alien fleet. His weapons were almost empty. His shields were gone. But he still had one thing left, his ship's power core. "Jake, no." Lisa's voice was weak over the radio. "There has to be another way. This is the way. Send the message, Lisa. Make sure people know." Jake flew straight at the center of the alien fleet. Ships fired at him from all directions. His hull was burning. His controls were failing, but he kept flying. Lisa worked frantically at her console. She gathered all their data about the aliens. Their weaknesses. Their numbers. How to hurt them. She compressed it into one message packet. "Message ready," she called out. "Send it. Send it now." Lisa hit the transmit button. The message shot across space toward Earth. All their knowledge. All their warnings. Everything Jake had died to learn. Jake's ship reached the heart of the alien fleet. He was surrounded by the giant biomechanical vessels. They were so close he could see the aliens inside them. Strange creatures with too many arms and glowing eyes. "This is Captain Jake Morrison," he said into his radio. "To anyone who can hear this, the enemy is coming, but they can be stopped. Do not give up. Fight for humanity. Fight for Earth." Jake overloaded his power core. The explosion was like a small star being born. It tore through space. The alien ships closest to Jake were vaporized. Others were damaged and drifting. The electromagnetic pulse from the explosion hit the recovering alien fleet. Their neural networks overloaded again. Ships crashed into each other. Some exploded. Lisa watched from the station. Tears ran down her face. Jake was gone. But his sacrifice had hurt the alien fleet badly. The aliens were retreating. They were heading back into dark space to recover and regroup. Jake had bought humanity time to prepare, time to build defenses, time to survive. In the silence after the explosion, Lisa heard a new sound. Human voices on the radio. "This is the UES Marathon. We received your message. We are coming to help." Admiral Kane's voice came next. She sounded different now. Scared but determined. "All ships converge on Black Rock Point. The enemy is real. Prepare for war." Lisa smiled through her tears. Jake's message had gotten through. People were listening now. The battle for humanity was about to begin, and they would be ready. Lisa floated in her escape pod. Through the small window, she could see the wreckage of Black Rock Point Station. Parts of it still glowed red-hot from the battle. But she was alive. The human fleet had arrived just in time. 50 ships led by Admiral Kane herself. They found Lisa's pod drifting near the destroyed station. They brought her aboard the flagship. Admiral Kane met Lisa in the medical bay. The Admiral looked older than before. Her perfect uniform was wrinkled. Her face showed the weight of knowing she had been wrong. "Dr. Grant," Kane said, "I owe you an apology. We should have listened." Lisa was tired and sad. Jake was gone. But his sacrifice had saved millions of people. "How much time do we have?" Lisa asked. Our sensors show the alien fleet retreated past the edge of the system, but they will be back. Maybe in days, maybe in weeks. They will bring more ships next time. Yes, that is why we need your help. You and Morrison learned how to fight them. We need to know everything. Over the next few hours, Lisa told them everything. How the biomechanical ships worked, how their neural networks controlled them, how electromagnetic pulses could disrupt them. The key is coordinated attacks, Lisa explained. Hit their command ships first. Without coordination, the fleet becomes confused. Kane listened carefully. She took notes on everything Lisa said. We are already building new weapons based on your data, Kane said. Pulse cannons, neural disruptors, things that can hurt their bioships. It will not be easy. They adapt quickly. They learn from each battle. Then we will have to learn faster. 3 weeks later, the aliens came back. Lisa stood on the bridge of the UES Freedom. It was the new flagship of the Human Defense Fleet. Through the main screen, she could see them coming. Hundreds of biomechanical ships. More than before, but humanity was ready this time. The human fleet had grown too. Ships from every colony, every mining station, every merchant company. They all came when they heard about the threat. Admiral Kane stood next to Lisa. Are you ready, Doctor? Lisa nodded. She was not a soldier, but Jake had taught her to fight. To stand guard, to protect people. All ships, Kane said into her communicator. Remember the plan. Target their command vessels first. Use the pulse weapons. Fight for Earth. Fight for humanity. The battle began. The human ships moved in groups. Each group targeted a different part of the alien fleet. They used Jake's tactics. Hit-and-run attacks. Focus fire on weak points. The new pulse weapons worked. When they hit an alien command ship, the whole section of fleet became confused. Ships crashed into each other. Some fired on their own allies. But the aliens were learning too. They spread their command ships out. They made their neural networks harder to disrupt. The battle lasted for hours. Ships on both sides were destroyed. Space was filled with wreckage and bodies. Lisa worked at her science station. She tracked the alien formations. She found their new command ships. She guided the human attacks. There, she said, pointing at the screen. That ship with the long tentacles. It is coordinating the left flank. All ships target the vessel at coordinates Delta 7, Kane ordered. 20 human ships fired at once. Their pulse weapons hit the alien command ship together. The ship's neural network overloaded. It started to drift. The alien left flank fell apart. Ships moved in random directions. Some fled back toward dark space. It is working, Kane said. We are winning. But then the aliens did something new. The remaining command ships linked together. They shared their neural networks. Even if humans destroyed one, the others could still control the fleet. They adapted, Lisa said. They learned from our attacks. The alien fleet reorganized. They attacked with new tactics. Coordinated strikes on human command ships. Boarding parties that cut through ship hulls. The human fleet started to lose ships. Good ships with good crews. We need a new plan, Kane said. Lisa thought about Jake. About his sacrifice. About his final message. We need to do what Jake did, she said. Hit them where it hurts most. How? Lisa studied the alien fleet formation. In the center was a new ship. Bigger than the others. It had thick tentacles connecting to every command ship in the fleet. That one, Lisa said. It is the master control ship. If we destroy it, the whole fleet will collapse. It is too well defended. We would lose half our ships trying to reach it. Lisa looked at the tactical display. Kane was right. The master ship was surrounded by hundreds of defenders, but there might be another way. Admiral, I need a small ship. Something fast. What are you planning? Jake taught me that sometimes one person has to make the hard choice. I'm going to fly a pulse bomb into that ship. That is suicide. Maybe. But it will save everyone else. Kane stared at Lisa for a long moment. Then she nodded. Hangar Bay 7. There is a fast courier ship there. It has been modified with our strongest pulse weapon. Lisa ran through the ship's corridors. She had never been a pilot. But Jake had taught her the basics during their time on the station. The courier ship was small and sleek. It had enough speed to get through the alien defenses, and enough firepower to destroy the master ship. Lisa strapped herself into the pilot seat. Her hands shook as she started the engines. This is Dr. Lisa Grant, she said into the radio. Beginning attack run on the master control ship. Good luck, Doctor, Kane's voice replied. Lisa flew out of the hangar bay. Space around her was full of battle, ships fighting and dying, explosions lighting up the darkness. She flew toward the center of the alien fleet. Enemy ships fired at her. She dodged as best she could. The small ship was hit several times but kept flying. As she got closer to the master ship, Lisa could see how huge it was. Like a city floating in space. Tentacles reached out in every direction, connecting to other ships, controlling the entire fleet. More alien ships moved to stop her. Lisa fired her regular weapons to clear a path. But she saved the pulse bomb for the target. An alien fighter got too close. Lisa turned hard to avoid it. The ships collided. Her hull cracked. Air started to leak out, but she was almost there. The master ship filled her view screen. "This is for you, Jake," Lisa said. She armed the pulse bomb. It would overload in 30 seconds. Enough time to reach the target. Alien weapons fired at her from every direction. Her ship was falling apart. But she kept flying. 20 seconds. The master ship's defenses concentrated on her. Energy beams cut through her hull. Her engines started to fail. 10 seconds. Lisa could see the alien crew inside the master ship. Strange creatures with glowing eyes. They knew what was coming. 5 seconds. Lisa crashed her ship into the master ship's control center. The pulse bomb exploded. The electromagnetic pulse tore through the master ship's neural network. All its connections to the fleet were severed. The coordination that held the alien fleet together disappeared. Without central control, the alien ships panicked. Some tried to retreat. Others attacked randomly. Most just drifted in confusion. The human fleet pressed their attack. They destroyed the confused alien ships one by one. Those that could flee ran back to dark space. Hours later, the battle was over. Humanity had won. Admiral Kane stood in the wreckage of the master ship's bridge. Her teams had found Lisa's body in the crashed courier ship. She had died on impact, but her sacrifice had saved the human race. She was a hero, Kane said to her officers. Just like Morrison. Years passed. The alien threat never returned. Maybe they found easier targets. Maybe they learned that humans were too dangerous to attack. Black Rock Point Station was rebuilt, but now it was called Morrison Station. It became the headquarters of the Deep Space Early Warning Network. Dr. Lisa Grant became a legend. Her research on biomechanical technology helped humans develop new defenses, new weapons, new ways to explore the galaxy safely. In the main hall of Morrison Station, there was a memorial wall. It had the names of everyone who died in the alien war. At the top were 2 names in gold letters, Captain Jake Morrison, Dr. Lisa Grant. Below their names was a quote from Jake's final transmission. "This is Captain Jake Morrison. The guns of humanity speak across infinity. We will not go quietly into the void." New recruits to the Deep Space Service learned their story, how 2 exiled people at the edge of space had saved everyone, how they stood guard when no one else would, how they proved that even the smallest voice could speak across infinity. The memorial also told visitors about the price of ignoring warnings, about the danger of putting politics before truth. Admiral Kane had made sure of that. It was her way of honoring the people she had failed to believe. Every year on the anniversary of the battle, ships from across human space came to Morrison Station. They held ceremonies. They remembered the heroes. But more importantly, they kept watching the dark, listening for signals from beyond, standing guard against whatever might come next because that was what humans did. They protected each other. They stood together against the unknown, and when the darkness came, they lit it up with the fire of their guns and the strength of their hearts. The galaxy was a dangerous place. But as long as humans stood watch, it would never be empty of hope. Jake Morrison had been cast out to the last outpost. But in the end, his guns had spoken for all humanity, and the echo of that voice would carry across infinity forever.